the base of the Republican voters, which is a conservative base. We have a center of the Republican conference in the House that's conservative. We need their leadership to reflect that, and we need the leadership of the RNC to reflect that. And I think Lee Zeldin does that. I'm glad that he's running.
Let's get to the speaker's race. I think it was a week ago on our show, you said there were 10 hard no votes. I've quoted you that probably 150 times. Because I know if you say it, you mean it, and you verified it. But things change in a week. I mean, you saw the deal that Kevin made with Marjorie Taylor Greene, so deals can be made to get votes. And again, look, I don't criticize Taylor Greene for making her deal that benefits herself. That's fine. Just own it. You're right. Just say, hey, I made a deal. I get to serve on the committees I want. I think I'm probably beneficial there to the country and the movement, fine, but don't get on TV and tell me that if I don't vote for McCarthy, that a Democrat is speaker or Liz Cheney is speaker. That's my beef with Taylor Greene, not the fact that she made a deal. Having said that, do we still have 10 hard no's?
Well, to speak to the Democrat part of it first, if I may, on your point there, Democrats are going to have somewhere around 215 votes in the House. It's going to be somewhere around 220 to 215. Since we'll only have about 215 if they get there. They're not there yet. But if they get there, 215 does not equal 218. Tell me what Republican is going to vote for what Democrat for speaker. So this myth, this scare tactic, this disinformation campaign to suggest that if you don't support the anointed person who's supposed to be the speaker, then somehow you're going to help elect Democrats. That is bogus. That's a lie. It's not true. It's a scare tactic. It's impossible unless Republicans were to choose to go to the House floor and vote for Democrats. I don't think that's going to happen. If so, name the name on what Republican is going to vote for what Democrat. That is bogus. It's just disinformation. It's clear to me, the second part of your question, it's clear to me that Kevin McCarthy cannot get the needed 218 votes to become speaker. And as I said a week ago, and as I continue to say, and I'm increasingly persuaded that there's more than enough members who, like me, who are resolved not to support him. I will not be supporting him on January 3rd. We should not get to January 3rd because with that in question, I should say, we essentially posted the opening for Speaker of the House on November 15 when he only received 188 votes. And so, again, we need to begin interviewing other candidates. And there's several other high-quality candidates who I think will emerge once it's clear to them that there's this core that's not going to support Kevin McCarthy. And I think we're going to be able to find a strong leader who represents, again, the conservative center of the Republican conference and who can reach or even exceed the required 218 vote threshold. So I'm going to be working with my colleagues to identify and assess those candidates, and to build that coalition of the 218 plus votes that we need to elect a speaker who will lead us in the fight to save the country. I believe, again, there are other qualified people. I think we can find those qualified people. And I like what Matt Gaetz says. There's different stages of grief. He says, he's used this in this analogy for this purpose. Hey, there's denial, then there's anger, then there's depression, and then there's acceptance. We're in that denial stage for some folks now, but I think that's beginning to change. People are beginning to realize that there's enough of us who are resolved that we're not going to support him. That it only takes 3 or 4 with the margin that we're going to have, but he's not going to get to 218. He had 2 years, really 4 years, including when he first became minority leader, but 2 years for we in the freshman class to have, exclusive opportunity to earn our support. He failed to do that for a number of reasons. And so it's time to turn the page and to consider other candidates. And again, there's a lot of people who'd like to be speaker, but they would be in fear of retaliation from the presumed speaker, or the person who's been the presumed speaker to this point, to not raise their hand and to challenge him. But I think that once it becomes increasingly clear to folks that we are resolved, and I think you're going to see more of these members becoming public. You've seen that in recent days, those who've come out publicly. And it's going to be clear these are the kind of members who are strong, they're principled, they're not going to be persuaded otherwise. They're going to hold the line. And we should be working on that now and not have to get to January 3rd and deny a vote on the floor. We ought to just coalesce around someone, again, who represents the conservative center of the conference.
So if we end up with 222 Republicans, which it appears it's 221 or 222, there's still a couple races to be determined, right?
Yeah.
Got a shot at 222. The Democrats will have 213 votes. He's got to get to 218. McCarthy's got to get 218. I mean, if there's 5 hard no's, he's gone. And I think the thing is, everybody's saying, well, he's got to make deals like he did with